Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, right? The Buffalo Bills walk into the 2025 draft with dire need for defensive back help, both at the cornerback position and at the safety position. They could definitely use a bigger bodied receiver on the outside. They could use some guard help and some interior defensive line help. You may be looking at offensive guard and saying, why do the Bills need offensive guard help? They had a great offensive line last year, and most of the guys are coming back. Well, David Edwards and Connor McGovern, as you can see over here, will both be free agents in the year of 2026. So after this year, there's a reality they lose one or both of those guys. They need to prepare for that. In terms of the picks they actually have, they have number 30 in round 1, 56 and 62 in round 2. A lot of flexibility with trades there. 109 and 132 in round 4, 169, 170, 173 in round 5, and then 177 and 206 in round 6. There's a good amount of flexibility with the Buffalo Bills. They have to look at the defensive side of the ball before anything else, but the reality is they're still in their Super Bowl window. As you can see presented by Pikkit, there is a very good chance, they have the third best chance, that the Bills walk into the big game next year and win it all. So as we go through this mock draft, we have to keep that in mind. We want day one starters, guys who can come in and immediately contribute in the foreseeable future, not just for 1 year, but a couple years right away. That has to be priority number one. Before we get into the mock draft, if you guys are new, make sure you subscribe and join the family. We're making a mock draft every single day leading up to the NFL draft, all 7 rounds for your favorite team eventually. So make sure you are locked in so you don't miss any of those videos. Without further ado, let's mock. As you can see, we are manually controlling the Buffalo Bills. We're going to turn down the speed a little bit here so we can potentially make some trades, but pick 30, all 7 rounds. Let's get into this draft. We'll start the draft. We are going to be back on the clock at pick 30. Again, we want some DB help. We're going to pause it around pick 25, 26 to see what's there, see if anybody is willing to trade down or a player we like is on the board. So looking at 23 here, Malachi Starks at the safety position is currently off the board. Obviously, we want to prioritize either DB or offensive guard or offensive line with these first couple picks. Those are the harder ones to hit, right? You want to take more swings at the bat, better swings at the bat with them. Mike Green is off the board at the edge rusher position as well. Malachi Starks, though, the big safety. Nick Emmanwori is a guy that we can look at pick 30, but we also do want to see what other DBs are available, if there are any other corners that are available as well. Now, pick 28, Detroit's on the clock. We're going to let it roll to us at 30, see who's available for us. We have a bunch of potential options. We can get Derek Harmon, a guy who can step in and play next to Ed Oliver, who's been very good. We can go Nick Emmanwori and get our safety, but the safety depth in this draft is very good. So I think we probably wait on that end and we take an interior defensive lineman. That was one of our 4 big needs, right? We want to walk in, get a guy like Derek Harmon who can potentially play in the A-gap, the B-gap, primarily in the B-gap. He's lined up over the tackle at times too, especially last year, 188 snaps. This guy's very athletic. He can do a lot of different things. Putting him next to Ed Oliver, spearheading that defensive line, is probably the best way we can go. We're going to take Derek Harmon with pick 30, and now we will be on the clock again at 56. Remember, we have 56 and 62. So we're going to check out to see if there are any players that are slipping. Right now at 44, again, Nick Emmanwori, a safety we really like, has not gone yet. Let's see if anybody else nabs him in the next few picks. Okay, so he's still on the board. Do we try to get a safety? Do we try to get a corner? Xavier Watts is off the board. Okay, so anybody who needs safety, the Bucs need a safety here. They may wind up taking Emmanwori. We'll see. They take JT Tuimoloau. So we, again, are on the clock at 56 with some flexibility, right? We can look at a corner. We can look at a safety. Excuse me, Emmanwori is already gone. Where did he go? I must have missed that. Let's see. Did I miss him? I must have missed him unless he's farther down here. But regardless, he's off the board. He's not available for us. But we can get a corner or a safety here. When we're looking at these corners and these safeties, we want the guys who are most comfortable in zone. If you guys know anything about Sean McDermott, it is an extremely, extremely zone-heavy scheme, and it works. It's what he does. He takes away the best option, especially when you're looking at corners. You got to find the guys who have great zone grades, like Darian Porter, for example, a much better zone grade than a man grade. You look at his overall attributes, 6'4", a bigger guy, can probably help you out a little bit in terms of setting an edge in the run game. Benjamin Morrison, a guy at Notre Dame, though, who was asked to play a lot of man. Even though he's a little bit better in zone coverage, he was asked to play a lot of man at Notre Dame. Regardless, at 56 and 62, we are going to get multiple swings at the bat at the DB position. When you look at Andrew Mukuba, this is a guy who's played in the box. He's played in the slot. He's done a ton of different things at Texas. That is a guy we want at the safety position. I think we take Darian Porter here. We scratch off the corner position, and we wait at 62 to see if a guy like Mukuba or Lathan Ransom is available. Lathan Ransom, another guy who has done the main two things at the safety position. So playing deep, playing in the box, not necessarily a slot guy. It hasn't been, but we're going to take Darian Porter here, a very, very good zone corner. That's priority number one for the Buffalo Bills right now. We see who's on the board for us here at 62. Perfect. We have the ability to take Andrew Mukuba. Kevin Winston Jr. is another good one, a guy who didn't play a ton last year, but in 2023 was very, very good. We want day one starters. He may not be as healthy as other guys like Mukuba and Ransom. We take Andrew Mukuba here at the safety position. And now we are going to be on the clock again at 109. This is where it's going to get really fun because we could use a big-bodied wide receiver. We're going to see who's available. But Nick Nash is a guy who's in my head potentially at 109, 132. But we also, again, really need that offensive guard help, whether it's a guy who's played center, right guard, left guard. Ideally, we want somebody who's very flexible because Connor McGovern is a center. He plays center for the Buffalo Bills, has played guard in his time in the NFL as well. So we want to see if we can find guys who are flexible, who can do different things. So in terms of interior offensive linemen, Willie Lampkin, this is a guy who played all snaps at center in 2022. 2023 played a little left guard, then primarily right guard. 24 played all right guard. So that's good to know. Luke Kandra, almost exclusively right guard. Seth McLaughlin is a center, but has he played anything else? No, he has not. Connor Colby is a guy who's played left guard, right tackle, and right guard. That's good. Some more athletic prowess over there. Tyler Cooper is a guy who played a little right guard and then more left guard. I think Willie Lampkin right now is our best pick, but is he there at 132 potentially? Are there other players that are on the board right now that would give us some type of edge or some type of explosive play in the run game, in the pass game? Obviously, the Bills running backs are pretty good. They have a good room, but if they don't want to pay James Cook, they try to get a backup. Tez Johnson is a guy who, again, a little bit smaller, slighter build. The Bills have so many slot guys. I know everybody's looking at this name and recognizing it. Probably not for the Buffalo Bills. We got a bunch of interior defensive linemen. We got one with our first overall pick. We're going to get one later on as well. We don't take Will Howard. We don't necessarily need an edge, but this is the time you take swings at the edge position. So looking at some of the guys who are available to contribute to sit behind Joey Bosa, you need a third guy. You want the athletic guys, right? We have Oladejo from UCLA. Again, mainly outside the tackle in 2024, but played some off-ball linebacker, can do a lot of different things. That's good. Ashton Jeanty, primarily outside the tackle last year, a good amount over the tackle. This is a little bit of a bigger, stockier guy, 6'3", 275. So, not necessarily what the Buffalo Bills would want on the outside. Quandarius Robinson, a guy who, again, primarily played outside the tackle, can really get after the quarterback. When you look at athleticism, this is probably the guy, Quandarius Robinson, but there are a couple other ones that are still available that we need to look at. Baron Sorrell, primarily outside the tackle as well, a little bit over the tackle in terms of his build, a little bigger, 6'4", 260. To me, Quandarius Robinson is the guy that's more athletic. He's going to give you more off the edge in a wide nine, getting after the quarterback. The real question is, though, who do we think is going to be available for us or more likely available for us at 132? It's probably Willie Lampkin. So let's take Quandarius Robinson right now, potentially get Willie Lampkin at 132. If not, we either pivot, we go receiver. Again, Nick Nash is a guy I really like. He can block. He can play on the outside, a little bit of a bigger body. Let's see who's available for us. Willie Lampkin is there at 132. So we're not even going to think about it. We're going to take Willie Lampkin. That is our fifth pick of the NFL draft so far. Reminder, this is what we have so far. We got our interior defensive lineman. We got our DB help. We got an edge rusher. And we got our offensive line help. We got 5 more swings at the bat late in the draft. This is where we can look at, again, the bigger body wide receivers. You can see right there, Nick Nash just went 6-7 picks before us. Sorry, I'm not trying to clip for him. But just went 6 or 7 picks before us. So that's off the board now. Potentially looking at some other bigger bodied wide receivers. Dante Thornton is a guy that I really like, 6'5", 214. That big, stocky, outside X guy. We have back-to-back picks here and 3 picks in a row here. So we want to get a big-bodied outside guy. Jalen Lane, 5'10", 196, not our guy. Ty Felton as well, 6'2", so a good size, 186. Antoine Wells Jr., 6', 205. To me, the Buffalo Bills need a guy like Mac Hollins, and he had very, very good moments last year, and they're trying to replace him with Josh Palmer. I think it's going to work, but Palmer and Keon Coleman are those traditional Z wide receivers where they're outside guys, but not as big, as stocky, like the back shoulder fade. Like, you need to go win one-on-one. It's nice having that type of body. So Dante Thornton Jr. is a guy we need to look at. Looking at who the best overall players are right now, though, Seth McLaughlin continues to fall. That would be really nice if we want to move on from Connor McGovern in a couple years, having that depth. I honestly think Seth McLaughlin to sit behind Connor McGovern might be a good move. Looking at the running back position, again, they have so many good running backs already. They don't really need to lean into anybody, but good to know who's available. In terms of DBs, is there anybody like, Denzel Burke is available. Now, Denzel Burke was a guy who got torched in man, right? But he will not be asked to play almost any man in Buffalo. I think we're going to go Denzel Burke here. We'll go Denzel Burke at the corner position, get some more corner depth, and then right back we will go, well, who do we think is going to be available? That's the real question. Do we think James Pierce Jr. goes off the board? Probably not, right? Sorry, not James Pierce Jr. I'm thinking of the other Tennessee player. Dante Thornton Jr. Do we think Dante Thornton Jr. is off the board in 1, 2, 3 picks from now? Probably not. We probably should take best player on the board right now. Tight end is not necessarily in need for us, but I don't know. I don't hate the perspective of doing that. If you're just taking the best player on the board, I mean, Dawson Knox is a guy who's going to be gone in a couple years. You want somebody to sit behind Dalton Kincaid. I honestly think right now we should probably lean running back. Dante Thornton's going to be there for us. We should probably lean running back. And it's tough because you want guys who can do a lot of different things. Guys who can get the tough yards. You know what? I think right now, we go try and get Dante Thornton Jr., see who's on the board for us in a couple picks, see if anybody makes it easier for us. So Quinn Ewers is gone. Tyler Cooper is gone. Do we take a quarterback? Do we keep Kyle McCord in New York? I honestly don't hate that idea either, because whatever you think of Mitch Trubisky, if Josh Allen were to go down, you'd need somebody dynamic to bring that offense in. Honestly, Tyler Show would be that guy. Let's take Tyler Show for our backup quarterback here at 173. We're back on the clock at 177. After this, we'll be on the clock at 206 as well. Again, just looking at the best overall players, we have so many picks. We've scratched off so many needs. The real question is, what needs are we less confident in? We have multiple corners. We have a safety. Do we try to get a safety who can do a lot of different things like Andrew Makuba to sit behind him? Maybe. We have a backup quarterback. We got our outside receiver. We got our defensive line help. I honestly think we probably go trenches, defensive side of the ball with these last couple picks. In terms of safeties who are available, Caleb Ransaw is a guy who can do a lot of different things, right? You can see 2022 was a corner, but 23 and 24 was the nickel guy, right? He is 6 foot, 196. He's a kind of like a hybrid. To be honest with you, they kind of have it already in Terrell Bernard. So sitting behind Terrell Bernard, I like that a lot. We'll get that safety. And then lastly, I think we just take best player available, maybe with a slight shade for defensive line. And I think this draft is going to be really good. I think if the Buffalo Bills walk into next year with all of these players, they're going to be, one, in a better spot holistically as a roster, but two, going to give themselves multiple opportunities to hit on somebody. I really like this. So let's look at some defensive linemen who are available right now. Again, Cameron Jackson, the interior guys probably should take a back seat right now, but the edge rushers that are available, I mean, Johnny Walker Jr., all-time name, but nothing really that's sticking out to me here. Same with Nazir Stackhouse, all-time name. I mean, do they take a running back? Do we do that? Do we take a guy like Taj Brooks or Quint Allen? Put him with his former teammate in Kyle McCord. Oh, we didn't take Kyle McCord. We took Tyler Show. Never mind. Forget I said that. Let's think about the slot guys. Obviously, they just extended Khalil Shakir, right? They got Curtis Samuel. I don't know. Let's just look at the depth chart and see what we're least confident in right now. The receiver position, so Samuel, they got Laviska Shenault, who I think they're going to do great things with. Look at this, guys. They have like no big-bodied receivers outside of Coleman and Palmer. And Dante now too. This is tough. This is tough. This is tough. Again, we have our like kind of hybrid nickel type player. We have some good depth on the defensive line. What are we less confident in right now? What are we least confident in right now? If I had to look, it would. That is tough. That is tough. I honestly think they probably just take another interior defensive lineman. Honestly, I think they take another interior guy. Looking at the interior guys who are available right now, we just looked. Cameron Jackson, Cam Horsley, Howard Cross the third in terms of athleticism, a little bit lighter, 6'1", 288, but a guy who can get after the quarterback. And that could be a sub-package guy. That could be a third down guy that you don't really have. Obviously, Ed Oliver. But looking back at who you drafted already, like Derek Harmon's an athletic freak, but he's big. Like you're not really going to have him out there on a lot of third downs. I think they take Howard Cross the third here and finish off the draft. I'll meet you guys at the end. This is what the final mock looks like. Again, we scratched off a ton of needs on the defensive side of the ball, taking multiple swings at the bat at positions of need like interior defensive line, safety, and corner, while also still sprinkling some offensive players in there. You get some interior offensive line help, which is great, potential successors, and a bigger bodied receiver on the outside. Buffalo continues to dominate the trenches on both sides of the ball. That was the recipe for success last season. I personally liked this draft. If you guys made it to the end of the video, let me know what you think of this mock draft. Rate it 1 through 10 in the comments. I just turned on my Keith Lee for you. But make sure you're subscribed so you can see the next mock draft coming out tomorrow, depending on when you're seeing this. Thursday, the Washington Commanders. God bless.